Welcome to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Quick, actionable tips to master personal finance and real estate investing. In just 5 minutes a day, we'll help you build wealth and achieve financial freedom.
Every investor meetup has the same intro round. You go around the room, 30 seconds each. Name what you own, what you're looking for. Most people say the same thing. Single family buy and hold under 300. Last month outside Columbus, a guy stood up and said something different. He owns a 22-unit apartment building, bought it in 2021. His bridge loan matures in July. He's looking for a buyer quickly, and he's priced it $170,000 below what he paid. 2 investors in that room had dry powder. One of them is in contract right now. He didn't post it on Zillow. He showed up in person because he needed someone who could move. Well, you don't need to be in that room. You need to understand why that deal exists and how many more are coming. Hey, Prime investors, Martin Maxwell here. Welcome back to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Today, $1.8 trillion in commercial real estate debt is maturing, and some of it is going to land in your market at prices that haven't existed in 15 years. Here's how to position. I'm not a financial advisor. This is education. Don't make investment decisions based on a podcast without qualified professionals on your team. The time bomb. Let me tell you what that $1.8 trillion actually is. Between 2020 and 2022, commercial real estate investors borrowed enormous sums at historically low rates. 3%, 3.25%, some got 3.75%. Bridge loans, short-term debt, 5 years. Their plan was simple: refinance when the loan matures. Rates didn't cooperate. The average rate on a maturing commercial mortgage today is 4.3%. To refinance that same loan, 6.2%. That's nearly 2 points higher. On a $1 million loan, that's an extra $20,000 a year in interest. On a $3 million building, think 20 units in a mid-market city. That's $60,000 a year. That's not a rounding error. That's a deal that doesn't work anymore. So owners couldn't refinance. The banks let them delay. For 2 years, lenders have been doing what Wall Street calls extend and pretend. Roll the loan another 6 months, modify the terms, give it one more extension. The New York Federal Reserve published a paper saying extend and pretend won't keep working. They were right. And 2026 is the year regulators are forcing banks to actually resolve these loans instead of kicking them. Here's the number I need you to hold: $162 billion. That's how much in apartment loans, not office buildings, apartment buildings, matures in 2026 alone, up 56% from last year, and 60% of the loans written in 2021 and 2022 are hitting maturity in the second half of this year. That is the time bomb, and it's already ticking. The math problem, not the market problem. Before you start imagining a 2009 scenario, don't. In 2009, buildings were empty, the economy collapsed, occupancy was the problem, rents were falling, tenants were leaving. Today, buildings are full. The vacancy rate on single-family rentals is under 6%. Multifamily occupancy is holding above 93% nationally. Rents are flat in some markets, but they're not collapsing. The demand is real. The problem is the debt, not the market. That's a difference. I'll say it again. That matters enormously to you as a buyer. I'm calling it the math problem, not the market problem. You're not buying into a broken market. You're buying a math equation the current owner can't solve. That's a very different thing. So 3 ways to play it. Play 1, buy the property. Over-leveraged syndicators who bought 10 to 50 unit apartment buildings in 2021 and 2022 are becoming motivated sellers. They finance short. They can't refinance. They're going to sell at prices that pencil at today's rates, which means you acquire full occupied buildings at 10 to 20% below replacement cost. The Columbus guy is not unique. He's early. Play 2, buy the note. Banks are selling non-performing commercial loans at 60 to 70 cents on the dollar. In a note purchase, you buy the debt itself, the promissory note, the mortgage. You step into the lender's position. You can restructure the loan, work with the borrower, or foreclose and take title. More complex. Minimum buy-in is typically $50,000 to $100,000 for a single note. But investors using this strategy saw returns above 57% in 2024. Play 3. Position in the demand shadow. This one's for the patient investor. When distressed commercial buildings near your target neighborhood eventually convert to residential, RXR just secured $475 million to turn a 1913 office tower in Manhattan into 796 apartments. The rental demand in that corridor surges. You buy rentals there now at suppressed prices ahead of the wave. My point of view? For most listeners, Play 1 is the entry point. Direct acquisition. Motivated seller. Below replacement cost. Deal that pencils at 7%. the motivated seller window. Here's the thing about this opportunity. It has an expiration date. Once banks force these loans into resolution, sale, modification, or foreclosure, the motivated sellers stop being motivated. The window closes. I'm calling this the motivated seller window. It's roughly 2026 into early 2027. We're in it right now. So how do you actually find these deals? 3 places. First, your county courthouse. Multifamily foreclosure filings are public record. You're looking for 10 to 50 unit buildings filed since January 2026. Second, CREDIQ, the commercial real estate data firm. They publish a free CMBS watch list that shows which loans are 30 plus days delinquent by property type, by geography. Apartment buildings on that list are telling you something. Third, get in the room. The REIA meetup, the Investor Association, the local landlord group. The Columbus deal didn't surface on any platform. It surfaced because someone showed up. You don't have to be a commercial real estate investor to benefit from a commercial real estate crisis. You just have to understand what's happening and be ready when the seller walks through the door. Your challenge today. This week, search your county's court records for multifamily foreclosure filings from January 2026 forward. You're not making an offer. You're checking whether the window is open in your market. Most investors won't do this. That is the advantage. Next episode, the 30% of homes that sell without ever hitting the MLS, and 5 channels every investor needs to access them. If you've ever lost a deal to someone who knew someone, that's what we're solving. That's next episode. I'm Martin Maxwell. Keep learning, stay strategic, and keep building one step at a time.